This is Retirement Keys with Anthony Congemi from Crescent City Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Anthony provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Retirement Keys with your host, Anthony Congemi.
Hello and welcome to another show, Retirement Keys. My name's Anthony Congemi from Crescent City Retirement Group. And if you would like to contact us, you can give us a call at 504-828-2171 or go to our website at www.crescentcityretirement.com. Go to crescentcityretirement.com. Stay tuned because later in the show, we're going to have a special offer, so you're not going to want to change the channel. Tony, thank you so much for being with us today. I think we have a pretty good show set up today, don't we?
Excellent. Oh, yeah, as always. And thanks for having me. I love getting together with you each week and doing the show, Anthony. And we always have some fun. Been seeing a lot of each other lately, and that's always good, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Being up there with you guys in Minnesota and visiting the home office there at Gradient and just seeing everybody and seeing you. It was great. It was really a good time and very educational. It was really it was a good time to spend.
Yeah, we had a
folks.
good time up there. Yeah, and I love how you're constantly going to these things, these conferences, and things to meet with other advisors and leaders in the field to, enhance and share what you do and how you can better help people in our community, our listeners, your clients. So, what are we talking about today on today's show?
Today, Tony, we're going to talk about procrastination, specifically procrastination when it comes to finances. You know, most people are guilty of some form of procrastination, whether that means they put off writing assignments until the last minute during their school days, or delayed filing for taxes as long as possible, or just have an ever-increasing stack of papers on their desk to sift through. This can be specifically true with financial responsibilities because, let's be honest, doing financial paperwork isn't exactly fun for most people. We all have done it, but there are plenty of reasons to not procrastinate.
Well, right. And I know you've been putting off doing this show for a long time. See what I did there, Anthony?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Well, and everybody knows that old saying, never put off for tomorrow what you can do today. My grandpa always told me that.
Absolutely. And which is a great theory and great advice. But the real life application of that is much easier said than done. So it really is important, Tony, we're all guilty of procrastination. We can put things off. It's very easy to do. But at the end of the day, it can sometimes mushrooms and snowballs and creates more of a problem than just getting right in there and doing what needs to be done.
That's right. And, obviously we all put things off. In fact, Mark Twain once said jokingly, never put off until tomorrow what you can do the day after tomorrow.
Absolutely. That's so true. Yeah, and I think many people follow that motto when it comes to their retirement. According to the 2016 report from the Insured Retirement Institute, only 55% of baby boomers have set aside savings for their retirement. Only 55%. That means that the other 45% don't have retirement savings to fall back on. That statistic alone is worrisome. Whether it's that they have a significant amount of debt, their finances are tied up in ongoing expenses, or that they hold on to the idea that they will have time to save for retirement down the road, people are always going to have excuses to delay saving for retirement. Putting off savings for retirement by even a few years, however, can mean the difference between the retirement you deserve and and outliving your money. So it's so important in those accumulation years. Now, if you're fortunate enough to have a 401k or have had a retirement plan through your employer where it's automatically deducted every time you get paid, you put so much into that retirement plan. And then if you're fortunate enough to have an employer that does some type of a match, this can be really a great way to accumulate assets in retirement.
Yeah. It's a huge way to make sure that you do that. And now give us an idea of how much this is going to affect our retirement.
Of course. So based on calculations, a 25-year-old that saves $100 every month until he retires at age 65 with an annual rate of return of 6.5% would accumulate over $225,000. If he waited until he was 40 years old to start contributing to his retirement, the balance would be significantly smaller. It would be $75,000. So that's a pretty steep difference. According to the report by the U.S. Government Accountability Office, the median amount of savings for many Americans is about $104,000 for households with members between 55 and 64 years old. That figure tells us that many Americans aren't saving nearly enough money in retirement. The Merrill Lynch Finance in Retirement Survey that was released in March of 2017 reports that the average cost of retirement has risen to an alarming $738,000. Of that amount, about $250,000 will be put toward health care costs. The amount that you need for retirement varies by each individual, of course, as they are several factors to be taken into consideration, but for the most part, Americans are not saving as they should be for retirement.
Well, that makes perfect sense, Anthony. Unfortunately, we do need to take a break here pretty soon, but before we do, is there anything you'd like to share before we take a quick break here?
Well, if you're out here and you don't have a retirement plan, you haven't put a structured income plan together, you don't know how Social Security strategies might play a role in your income plan, or a health care strategy, or an estate strategy, or a tax strategy. If you don't have those pieces together, you owe it to yourself to look at what a formal retirement plan might look like. If you're sitting out here and you're saying to yourself, this is something I need to do. Certainly I've put it off, but this is something I need to do. Take advantage of this special offer. You've been listening to our shows and advice on getting your finances in order and creating a retirement income plan that will last. Now is the time to take advantage of our special offer. This is Anthony Kangemi of Crescent City Retirement Group, and we're now offering a complimentary gourmet dinner and retirement planning workshop, The 5 Keys to a Stress-Free Retirement. This is one workshop you won't want to miss. Call in the next 20 minutes for this no-cost offer. Seating is limited. Call Crescent City Retirement Group within the next 20 minutes at 504-828-2171. That number again is 504-828-2171.
And welcome back to Retirement Keys. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore, and our host, the man with the plan, is Anthony Kangemi from Crescent City Retirement. And Anthony, great show today, talking about the costs of financial procrastination. And in our first segment, you talked about just how big of a problem this is when it comes to planning for retirement. It's just something that people put off. And it's not something that you can just sit back and ignore and expect to walk out of the workforce into your golden years of your dreams without some serious planning and some help. You just can't continue to put this off with the idea that you're going to be able to easily make up for lost time in the future. So, Anthony, what do you recommend for our listeners out there who maybe have fallen behind on planning?
Well, an obvious answer is to start planning today. Start saving today. Procrastination is the enemy that it's never too early to begin squirreling away money for your retirement. The earlier that you start putting your money to work for you, the more time that it has to grow from a little thing Albert Einstein called the greatest mathematical discovery of all time, which is compounded interest. I'm sure you're all familiar with it, but those who don't know, Compounded interest allows you to basically earn interest on interest. So if you earn $1,000 in the bank, let's say your bank account paid a 5% interest annually. At the end of the year, your balance would be $1,050 with $50 earned interest. But then if you were to leave the $1,050 in the bank, then the interest would earn on the next year would be even greater because it would be 5% on the entire amount. So that compounding of interest. So you can see how this great benefit to use to your advantage when it comes to retirement. Imagine the benefit of compounded interest when you have a couple of $100,000 in the bank. By simply saving earlier and saving regularly, you can watch your retirement savings increase significantly over time. Even if you don't make any contributions, your money is still growing because of compounded interest. Going off that, one of the best things you can do for your retirement besides starting early is to create a budget that works for you and to stick to it. Even if you are starting with only a small savings contribution, it's good to establish the habit of regularly setting aside money for your retirement future. There are plenty of things that could affect your retirement dollars in the future, like an economic downturn or growing life expectancies, reduced benefits like Social Security, and even rise in healthcare costs. All of these are things that may force you to stretch your retirement savings even further. And that's why it's important to get as much of a head start as possible. So the answer is to start now, start immediately, and let us help you do it. You know, putting into these different retirement accounts, whether it be traditional IRAs or Roth IRAs, your company retirement plan, if you have one, certainly taking advantage of the company match. All of those things, Tony, can go a long way in helping us accumulate assets for retirement.
Yeah, I would imagine, and I imagine that you've seen this a lot with people who come in to meet with you. They've put it off and they've put it off, right?
Yeah, they have. And there's two easy steps you can take to improve your savings habit right now. We're already touched on the first one a little bit, but it involves creating a workable monthly budget that will help you understand your cash flow a little bit better. Without detailed monthly budget, it can be very challenging to maximize your ability to save. One tool that you can take advantage of when it comes to saving is online budgeting software. It may enhance, it's free, and can help alleviate some of the pain that comes with preparing a budget. These online programs can handle all of your calculations to make sure that they're accurate and can help you create this savings goal. For instance, if you input the amount of money you want to save each month, the software can help you formulate a plan to meet that goal. These kinds of measurable goals allows you to adjust your spending habits as needed. So there's plenty of tools out there to be able to offer. We've got more tools today and much easier programs to navigate through than years ago. So this has come a long way. In the financial services industry, the whole idea of planning and saving and budgeting and all the rest. And of course, we can be extremely accurate on the retirement planning portion of it as far as where you're at now, how much you're contributing, and what your retirement's going to look like, whether it's 5, 10, 15, or 20 years down the road. We put plans together that are, extremely accurate. So if you don't have a plan in place and you'd like to see how it looks, give our office a call at 504-828-2171 or visit us at crescentcityretirement.com. The other thing is we hold retirement classes. We do them at the libraries, and we also do retirement workshops at various restaurants. We're going to be on the North Shore at New Valares, I believe, the first week of September. So if you're out there and you say, hey, I'm on the North Shore, I'd like to come to one of your workshops, again, call Katie or Grace or one of the ladies in the office and let them know you heard us on the radio and you'd like to register for one of the events, and we'd be happy to send you some information on it.
All right. That sounds good. And it sounds like you have some great tools and resources there for our listeners. And I know you're offering that complimentary, no-cost, no-obligation consultation. So do you have any tips on how people can start saving now?
Well, Tony, another important retirement savings action you could take is to stick to your plan. Creating a budget can be challenging, but oftentimes the hardest part is sticking to it. The second easy step that you can take toward planning for retirement is to automate the process wherever possible. If your company has an employer-sponsored retirement plan, as we talked about earlier, be sure to take advantage of it and try to meet the maximum contribution amount. You can also set aside an automatic withdrawal to your investment account that you have. Whether you set it up weekly, monthly, or quarterly, it's important to have a routine, a specific amount of your money being moved into your retirement account. Doing so can help you stick to your budget and help eliminate any temptations for procrastination. You know, setting it up automatically, Tony, is something as simple as that. Just setting up the contributions automatically could be the primary tool to turning it around and having that steady, consistent accumulation strategy over time. It'll just be incredible for you.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Now, unfortunately, we do have to take another quick break here. Is there anything you have for our listeners?
Yeah, so I appreciate you listening in and tuning in today on Sundays. We love coming to you every Sunday. If you'd like to come to one of the workshops that I mentioned earlier, please give our office a call. But most importantly, if you don't have a retirement plan in place, take advantage of this offer. You've been listening to our shows and advice on getting your finances in order and creating a retirement income plan that will last. Now is the time to take advantage of our special offer. This is Anthony Kangemi with Crescent City Retirement Group, and we're now offering our 3-step retirement planning process at no cost and a $100 gift card to the restaurant of your choice upon completion of the planning process. Call Crescent City Retirement Group within the next 20 minutes at 504-828-2171. That number again is 504-828-2171.
Have you disinherited your family? You may have if you haven't looked at your beneficiary forms on your individual retirement accounts, defined pension plans, insurance policies, or existing bank accounts recently. Structuring your legacy is one of the most important pieces of the retirement planning process. Oftentimes, it's overlooked as a portion of the process because it generates no income for the financial advisor. At Crescent City Retirement, we take pride in adding value to our clients and fully realize that relationships are built over time and not with transactions. Call Crescent City Retirement at 504-828-2171. That's 504-828-2171, and we'll provide you with a complimentary beneficiary review. Make sure your legacy is defined to your beneficiaries exactly the way you want them to be. And welcome back to our last segment for this episode of Retirement Keys with our host, Anthony Kangemi. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore, and today we've been talking about how important it is to not delay saving for retirement. There are plenty of areas of life where it's okay to procrastinate, like putting off buying tickets to a concert or a sporting event, doing that at the last minute, or getting last-minute deals on vacation packages. But you know what? As you've mentioned, Anthony, planning for retirement is not one of them. And you've already talked about just how big of an issue this is in America, with a huge percentage of the population putting off retirement savings. And that's critical. We also talked about a couple of quick tips to help people start saving easily. You mentioned taking advantage of compounding interest, creating a realistic monthly budget plan or spending plan, and then setting up those automatic contributions whenever possible. All great tips. Could you maybe give us a little more insight on today's show as to what we should do if we find ourselves behind on retirement savings?
Sure. So one of the most beneficial things you can do for your retirement savings is to sit down and come up with a list of realistic expenses that you think you will face in retirement. This can help you determine how much you will need to save and help you gauge how far along you are in the retirement savings process. If you aren't sure where to begin when it comes to creating a retirement budget, you can start by looking up online what some of the average expenses are in retirement. This would include, of course, housing and transportation, health care, food, entertainment, insurance, and other things. For the most part, a lot of your day-to-day expenses will change dramatically when you retire. You won't need to commute to work every day. You also may have your house paid off by then, so you don't have to worry about a mortgage payment. There's some unpredictable costs in retirement, of course, though, like health care expenses. Health care costs tend to rise throughout your retirement. The older you get, the more medical help you may need. It's important to factor these unpredictable costs into your plan so that you can be prepared as possible. And that's one of the reasons when we put together a retirement plan, there's really 5 key areas. And of course, healthcare planning is one of them. But we think there's 5 key areas. And I tell you, I know you can't write this down because you're driving, but I would say that if you can just remember this, that the 5 keys, as far as we're concerned, and I'd love to send you a copy of my book. It's published on Amazon, but if you call in, we'll send it to you. But the 5 keys to a stress-free retirement, as far as we're concerned, there's 5 areas: estate and legacy planning, healthcare planning, an investment strategy, income planning, and tax strategies. And I think if you put those 5 key areas in place and you have those 5 covered: estate and legacy, healthcare, investment strategy, income planning, and a tax strategy, those 5 key areas, and you've got a pretty well thought out, well-rounded retirement plan.
And that's the type of thing that will help you prevent that procrastination issue and savings issue by having a plan in place and sticking to that plan. So what would you say to the average person out there who maybe got a late start on retirement planning and now they're worried about making ends meet down the road?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that it's going to be different for everyone. Some of the figures we talked about today might seem daunting, and you may be wondering, how on earth could you ever come up with the funds you plan to raise for your golden years? The good thing, though, is that it isn't hard and fast numbers that you need for sure. And even if it is, you wouldn't have to actually save that much money by the time you retire. If you save enough, your savings can grow to the amount you may need by the time you're ready to leave the workforce. If you're fortunate enough to have a 401k where your employer matches, then your savings goal becomes even simpler to reach. While saving $700,000 is a good target that many people can aim for, it ultimately is just an average. Your unique situation can look much different depending on your list of things, your lifestyle in retirement, or are you someone who hopes to travel a lot during retirement, or do you enjoy a round of golf every day? Your health and life expectancy, your housing, and many other factors that can add up and play a role in your savings needs. So really, when we sit down and look at a retirement plan and talk about the future and retirement planning, a big part of the conversation is getting a sense of what the goals are, for the couple or for the individual. Do they want to, are they happy, being at home and playing with the grandkids, or are their kids in town? Do they live out of town? Do they plan on doing a lot of traveling? I mean, do they want to, are they like gardening or golfing or hunting or fishing? What are the hobbies? What's the cost involved? What are their expenses? What's their lifestyle needs? And everybody's situation's different. I mean, you could be someone that says, look, I'm not looking for a big grandiose retirement. I just want to be enjoying myself. I love to read. I love to go to the parks, whatever it might be. And so at the end of the day, we want to customize a plan that is going to fit the needs for your retirement. And that's the goal. And I would just encourage you, if you don't have a formal retirement plan, if you're working with a retirement planner, bravo, because in the financial planning space, not everybody specializes in retirement planning. And one of the things that I would say is whoever you work with, if you're working with us or if you're working with another firm, by all means, ask for a sample copy of the retirement plan itself. Yeah. What do they include?
That's key.
That's key. What's involved? What do they include? Can you understand it? Is it straightforward? Or is it convoluted? And you want a plan that you can understand, and you want a plan that covers the bases that need to be covered. And so I would just say, and I think it's a fair question to ask any one of us, anybody in the financial planning space. If you were talking to an architect, you'd want to see some plans that they've drawn up. You'd want to see some homes maybe that they built. If you're talking to a contractor, you'd want to maybe see some homes they built, or you may want to talk to some of the folks that have done business with them in the past. So this is all just good due diligence when you're shopping for a retirement counselor. And so I would just encourage you but have a plan. Put a plan in place, put a savings plan in place, put an accumulation and a distribution plan in place. And that's what we'd like to offer you. So if you're listening and you don't have that and you'd like to see what one of our plans look like, take advantage of this offer. You've been listening to our shows and advice on getting your finances in order and creating a retirement income plan that will last. Now is the time to take advantage of our special offer. This is Anthony Kangemi of Crescent City Retirement Group, and we're now offering a complimentary gourmet dinner and retirement planning workshop, The 5 Keys to a Stress-Free Retirement. This is one workshop you won't want to miss. Call in the next 20 minutes for this no-cost offer. Seating is limited. Call Crescent City Retirement Group within the next 20 minutes at 504-828-2171. That number again is 504-828-2171.
Thank you for listening to Retirement Keys. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, please contact Anthony Kangemi at Crescent City Retirement Group. Call 504-828-2171 or visit the website at crescentcityretirement.com. All matters discussed during this show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. Anthony Kangemi and Crescent City Retirement Group are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency.